Hello, I'm Mike McMahon, Chief Executive Officer of EcoVapor. We appreciate this opportunity to share EcoVapor's solution and business model with you today. EcoVapor is a technical leader in oil and gas facility emissions management with headquarters in Denver, Colorado. EcoVapor's solution is currently operating in over 110 installations in all major U.S. basins. EcoVapor's focus is on the facility's storage tank battery, which represents a significant portion of upstream greenhouse gas emissions. The tank battery accounts for over a quarter of the total CO2 equivalent emissions from a typical upstream site. A valuable high BTU vapor stream is generated in the tanks, as they're the best separator on the pad due to high residence time and very low tank pressures. The status quo management practice of this vapor is typically to burn it using some type of flare or combustor. A typical EcoVapor sales conversation starts with an operator asking for our help to address a regulatory issue or achieve an environmental goal. EcoVapor is the most economical solution for these scenarios. There are powerful drivers in our industry that are placing an intense focus on greenhouse gas emissions and routine flaring. Many states have either enacted tighter regulations on flaring or are actively considering such action. Colorado has drafted rules calling for flaring in emergency only and have cut the threshold to be a major emissions source in half. New Mexico is following Colorado's actions closely and are expected to enact parallel rules soon. There is now a significant focus on flaring and permitting of flaring in Texas. Enforcement actions, including site audits and drone flyovers, are becoming more frequent and more diligent. We speak to many operators who have notices of violation or are wanting to stay even or get ahead of the rulemaking activity. Many operators, large and small, have adopted corporate objectives and have tied corporate bonuses to reduction in emissions and flaring. Major operators are no longer willing to just be compliant. They are actively demonstrating their commitment to environmental leadership. Many organizations that bring together oil and gas operators have been formed to share best practices and pool resources to increase focus and improve results in emissions management. Some examples are OGCI, the Environmental Partnership, and many others. This diagram captures the EcoVapor solution's fit in the upstream process. A 1 to 3% increase in liquids production is typical, given our higher capture rate of the rich tank vapor. The vapor is compressed in a vapor recovery unit and flows through the EcoVapor 02 unit to ensure the gas meets pipeline specifications and can be consistently sold. Flaring occurs in emergency only. EcoVapor solution has many benefits that bring value to the operator. A reliable and consistent means of 100% vapor recovery means permit modeling can be done much more precisely, more wells per pad, which provides CapEx and OpEx efficiency. Additional benefits are higher cash flow due to incremental oil and gas sales, streamlined permitting process in many states, and improved safety due to lower tank operating pressures. This diagram depicts the status quo upstream well pad in operation today. The well stream goes through initial separation and enters the vapor recovery tower, or VRT, which is often used to capture some of the available vapor. In our experience, we believe that operators frequently overestimate the efficiency of their VRTs and that a VRT typically captures only about 50 to 80% of the vapor stream. Also, VRTs put hydrocarbons into the gas phase, where with the EcoVapor solution in place, more would remain in liquid state and be sold at 5x the gas value. The tank battery generates substantial amounts of vapor, which typically contains oxygen, that finds its way into the tanks in spite of the best efforts of the operator. Pipelines have very strict specs on oxygen content in all gas introduced into the pipeline to protect the pipeline from corrosion risk. The flare is shown here blazing with uncaptured tank vapor. Additionally, as an empty tanker truck is filled with oil, the displaced vapor must be managed and is typically flared as well. This diagram shows our view of the ideal emissions management system for an upstream facility. The VRT is not present, so capital costs are lowered and liquids production is increased versus the status quo. There is full capture and sale of all vapor generated on the site, and the flare is still present, but is used only in emergency. The EcoVapor equipment ensures that the gas meets pipeline spec for oxygen content, which is a major reason vapor is flared today. EcoVapor's core technology is the 02 unit, shown on the right. The 02 is a heated pressure vessel reactor on a compact 4-foot by 4-foot skid. The reactor contains a proprietary platinum catalyst, which reacts with the oxygen in the gas stream, converting the oxygen into a combination of CO2 and water. EcoVapor has a proprietary equipment monitoring system that tracks performance of our 110 deployed units. Plots of actual field data are shown here. The top graph shows high and varying oxygen content in the captured vapor stream, the yellow line, that consistently violates pipeline maximums, which is depicted by the red dashed line. The lower plot, with an expanded scale versus the first plot, shows the same gas stream after treatment by the 02 unit, with the red dashed line still showing pipeline maximums and the gas stream showing consistent, compliant oxygen levels, indicated by the green line that is barely visible above the 0 ppm line. In fact, the EcoVapor unit can treat gas with up to 15% air content consistently and reliably down to pipeline spec. In spite of an operator's best efforts, oxygen is typically present in the tank vapor. There are techniques that attempt to exclude oxygen from the tank. These are typically not effective and require a great deal of operator attention and cost. Additionally, without a reliable means of selling the vapor, the required air emissions permits must be modeled to allow for process upsets and conserve to keep the operators from maximizing the number of wells on a pad. EcoVapor is very proud of the impact our solution has already made to our industry and to our planet. We recently won the South Texas Energy and Economic Roundtables Award for outstanding environmental impact in the Eagle Ford region. One EcoVapor E300 unit operating with typical vapor composition and at nameplate capacity prevents CO2 equivalent emissions of around 22,000 tons annually. The results are shown graphically, comparing the EcoVapor unit's emission reduction level against flaring of all vapor and versus the status quo VRT process. Our 110 installations then provide a collective run rate of avoided emissions of over 2.5 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year. And this equals the emissions from over 500,000 cars. I will now briefly discuss some actual case studies that highlight the adoption of our technology and the many ways we bring value to operators. Driven by Shell's global environmental leadership, EcoVapor was invited to collaborate with Shell to design a system to capture 100% of the vapor in their upstream Permian operations. Using the system we developed together, Shell currently treats over 20 million standard cubic feet per day of tank vapor using EcoVapor technology, and credits EcoVapor as a key partner in their 80% reduction in Permian flaring since 2018. A large Mid-Con operator, utilizing the status quo upstream process configuration and flaring continuously, engaged with EcoVapor with the goal of putting out their flares while achieving at least 100% internal rate of return. The EcoVapor system was installed, eliminating the VRT. Now, the flare is out, and the operator confirmed an IRR of 170%. This 7-month simple payback is far superior to the status quo process the operator originally had in place. The EcoVapor solution also allows Texas-based operators to apply for their air emissions permit, qualifying for 100% permit by rule. In this scenario, a qualifying site can be commissioned while the air permit is still being processed, saving time and improving the net present value of their investment in that well. In addition, 4 more wells were added to this well site while remaining below permit mandated emissions thresholds. Routine flaring is a hot topic, and EcoVapor is experienced and well positioned to continue helping operators solve their emissions problems and meet their emissions goals. This slide depicts our journey as a solution provider, starting locally in the DJ on single unit installations and building a reputation for a reliable and effective solution. EcoVapor now has a presence in all major U.S. basins and are now working with operators to adopt the ideal process in all of their site designs, as Shell did. EcoVapor is working hard to fully leverage the growing tailwinds we're experiencing with ESG-driven corporate initiatives and increasing regulatory scrutiny. This leads to wider operator adoption, and we also envision international expansion. Our experienced and passionate leadership team are focused on bringing an attractive environmental solution to our industry. We all interface regularly with operators and earn our role as a trusted advisor on emissions management. We are fortunate to have an engaged and very supportive capital partner in EIV Capital. We are interested in developing other strategic partnerships to continue building out our growing team and expanding our commercial reach. Thank you for the opportunity and for your interest in EcoVapor. I welcome questions and offline conversations to expand further on my message today. Thank you.